At its most basic level, an algorithm is simply a process that is used to solve a problem. What it does is you give it some type of information and input, and then it processes it and then gives you information back, which is the output. One of the most basic concepts you learn when programming is the concept of if-then, meaning that if I tell you to think of a number from 1 to 10, and then you give me that number, and then I have an if-then situation. For example, if the number is 1 to 5, do something. If the number is 6 to 10, do something else. Basically, that's an algorithm in its most simplified form. That's an algorithm. So when you get to social media, the algorithms are millions of times more complex, meaning that if the number is between 1 and 5 and the person is located in Philadelphia and they're between 30 and 40 years old and they've recently shopped at a shoe store and
they like puppies.
Yes, exactly. So there's millions and millions of inputs to decide, okay, this is the kind of video they might like to see. And that's why your feed looks the way it does. One of those inputs is also what videos have you watched recently? How are those videos classified? And that affects your feed as well. The funny thing about it is the algorithm can change from one moment to the next, meaning that what the algorithm decided about you at 2 in the afternoon may be very different from what it decided about you at 4:30 that same afternoon.
So that might explain why you may see a video from a creator that they published like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
But you'll see it today.
Yes, because for whatever reason, the algorithm looked at you when you got on the app and said, oh, you know what? We didn't think this person wanted to see this 2 weeks ago when it was posted, but based on what they've watched since then, maybe we should show them this video. And they show you that video in the hopes that you'll like it, comment on it, some way interact with it to make it worthwhile for them. Whatever keeps you on the app for the longest amount of time is the goal. Now, mind you, these algorithms, again, they have millions of different inputs and all these different if-then situations. That requires a lot of processing power. And that's why all social networks have huge data centers. They have tons of computing power, and that's why they all have so many ads. The need for that computing power is always going to grow, so the cost to run it all is always going to grow. So they have to have more and more ads. And it's constantly changing, and people say, oh, the algorithm does this, algorithm does that. Yeah, maybe in that moment, maybe that day. But it changes based on every individual user. And the ability to do that requires a lot of processing power, which costs a whole lot of money.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome.